You can be what you wanna be. Be what you wanna be. You just be what you wanna be with me.
Good morning, beautiful people. Welcome to another episode of Happy AF. My name is Sam Bowker and I'm super pumped that you decided to join me here today. So you might notice it's Tuesday, not Monday. And that's okay, because if you're here today, then you are meant to be here today. And I'm super committed to showing up each week for you guys. And I also am super committed to being my very best version of myself when I do that. And full disclosure, I have just spent the last 4 days in an amazing workshop. However, the workshop started at kind of 10 p.m. and went till 1 or 2 p.m. each day. And so I'm feeling a bit jet lagged. And that's why I didn't come on yesterday, because I literally could not keep my eyes open. And I figured, I know that energy and is contagious. And I did not want to contaminate you with my energy yesterday, which was something like this. I was so tired and just shattered and basically was struggling to string a sentence together. So anyway, I've had a bit of sleep, not a full night's sleep, definitely a bit like a jet laggy kind of sleep, but I am here today and I'm super excited to share with you some of the things that I learnt in the last 4 days, but also I guess I wanted to really tap into you about the concept of happy, because the show is called Happy AF, and what does that actually mean to you, right? What does being super happy actually mean, right? So I've created a little challenge, and my intention with this challenge really is to give you a little bit of accountability for your emotional well-being, but also to give you the opportunity to plan for how it is that you want to feel. Okay. And people, will often say to me, oh, but I can't choose how I feel. And the simple fact, that's not true, right? Your immediate reaction and response in how you may feel about a situation is rooted in a core belief that probably happened a long time ago. And you might hear me often talk a lot about how a belief is just actually a story, right? And you created the story. So although your initial response to something may be how you actually feel about it, if you don't want to feel that way, then all you need to do is go, okay, I've noticed when this happens, my initial response is that, and I don't like that. So I would rather feel like this when that happens. And what you can do is you can literally write a new story. Now, I know you're probably sitting there saying, surely, Sam, it can't be that easy. Well, it is simple, but it's not easy. Okay. So the process is simple, but the practice and getting it right comes from patterning it in, okay, and creating a new pattern. And that's where the practice comes in, and that's where the accountability comes in. So I want to give you an example, okay? It was really quite funny. I've got this whole little challenge put together for you, and I've posted it up in the group with, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, and all of the different kinds of things that you can do. And the reason that I did that last week was that I wanted you to start thinking about what are the things that you can do that can contribute to your level of happiness. Okay. Now, we've been doing this show for a few months now, and I always intended to do a challenge, but I wanted to kind of give you a bit of a framework before I jumped into doing that. So you might have noticed, I'm just going to have a look here. So I've share with you exactly what I'd written down. Okay, so in the little challenge, I'd come up with just a bunch of things. Now, there's a lot of different things that you can do, but these were just some of the things that I know can contribute to your level of contentment and happiness. Okay, so just bear with me. We're going to go through them one by one. So be someone's rainbow in a cloudy day. Okay, now I talked a bit about this last week. The simple fact is that when you do something good for someone else, or when you make someone else smile, it makes you feel good, okay? And so if you can find a small thing that you can do for someone else, right, that makes them feel good, it makes you feel good. It just works. It just works. So that's a really small, simple thing that is not labor intensive. It's super easy to do. And it's one of those things that you can do by actively making a decision in your mind that you're going to look for an opportunity in your day to make someone else feel good, right? Now, this is something that I do unconsciously. It's something that I learnt a long time ago, and it's something that I'm always looking to find an opportunity. And it can be something as simple as, being in a supermarket and putting your trolley away and then seeing someone's, finished their trolley and they've got a kid in the car and just saying to them, hey, do you want me to take your trolley back? It's a small thing. It can be a complete stranger, right? It doesn't have to be somebody that you know. But if you start looking for an opportunity to do that kind of thing for somebody, you'll find those opportunities. And I'm telling you, there's nothing better than even just that small random act of kindness. It makes you feel good. Now, this is something that I teach my daughter, right? I share with her, the opportunity that she has. Now, she's 10 years old. She has the opportunity every single day to make somebody's day, right? She can compliment them on, their shoes or the way they've done their hair that day or something that they do in class. Or she can do, there's so many little things that people can do to make somebody else feel good. So that's my first little happiness hack, okay? And what happens when you do something good for someone is that you'll find your happy hormones kick in. Now, we've got these amazing happiness hormones, right? You've got your endorphins and you've got oxytocin and you've got dopamine, and even just breathing. Taking a big deep breath in can make you feel good. So, and when you do something nice for someone, you're going to find that your body actually releases a dopamine hit, right? Which is the same kind of hit you get when someone likes a comment on your Facebook, or when, not that I want to refer back to drugs, but here's the thing. You go and do drugs. The reason people do drugs is that the drugs actually release those chemicals in your body. So you can actually do that naturally, right? And feel good anyway. So who wants to feel good? Who wants to have an experience of releasing some of those chemicals? Go and say something nice to someone, okay? That's the first thing I've put on my list, because I believe that's probably one of the easiest things that you can do. Now, the second thing I've chucked on my list, okay, is move your body in the happy AF way. Now, what is the happy AF way? The happy AF way is chucking on a tune, a song that you really like. So here you go. This is the song I chucked on this morning before I jumped in here, okay? Now, you bear with me. If you're not, similar to my age, this might not be a cool song for you, but this is how it made me feel this morning, right? Feeling sexy back. Yeah! 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 Put it through the word. Alright, I think you get the general gist, okay? Now here's the thing. Play a song, dance, move your body, okay? You get your endorphins happening. You feel good, right? You put a song on that you love. Now, I've got so many songs. I love music. I love singing. I love dancing. I love moving my body. But when you do that, it releases chemicals in your body. It makes you feel good, right? And especially if with that, you've got a song that's actually got words that make you feel good about yourself. I'm bringing sexy back. Yeah, right? Now, I like that. I like the thought that I feel sexy. So I want you to think about that. What's your happy AF song? What's a song that you could play that makes you feel good? Okay, it's a simple thing that you can do. All right, breathwork exercises. Now I've just said you've got your happy chemicals that you can release when you breathe, right? And you take in a nice deep breath. You actually are filling your body up with fabulosity, okay? And there is so many different types of breathwork techniques. Now, I'm going to teach you a couple today, and you pick the one that's right for you. I have to say that I'm not consistent with the same one every single day, because it's really dependent on the way I've structured my day. But I love Wim Hof breathing, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to post up some videos after today in the chat so that you can have a look at the different versions. Now, I really like Wim Hof's breathing because his breathing processes, the very first time I did them, truthfully. Now, any of you out there that have ever experienced drugs, I felt like I was high on something like ecstasy. Now, I don't take drugs anymore, but I do have a history, as I've shared with you guys in the past. And the reason that I used to do that was because I liked escaping and I liked feeling good. And I was hiding from not feeling happy. So I was always trying to search for the happy, and I used drugs, right? But here's the thing. When I first did this breathwork process with Wim Hof at a retreat, I kid you not, I felt like I was on a high. It was the best experience ever. And the way that he does it is he does these big, deep breaths. It's all the way in, all the way out, all the way in, all the way out. And he hyper-oxygenates his body. He does about 50 breaths, and then he does a breath hold. Now, I got to a point where I was breath holding for about 3.5 to 4 minutes, which sounds insane. But the reason I liked his breathwork process is that that not only was there the breathing, okay, but there was cold therapy. And I had a lot of issues with my back pain. And if you struggle with anxiety or depression, there's a lot of research in that is now stating that depression is as a result, or is certainly correlated to inflammation in the body and inflammation on the brain. And cold water constricts all of the blood vessels and helps to reduce that inflammation. So if you struggle with any level of pain, anxiety, or depression, I'm going to highly recommend that you consider looking at cold therapy and Wim Hof's breathing. Okay, it is a game changer, and it takes about 16 minutes, and it's best to do it first thing in the morning before you've eaten anything. Now, I hear you, a lot of people don't have a spare 16 minutes in the morning, although that's ridiculous, right? Why do we not have 16 minutes? That's another show. If you don't have 16 minutes, there is another version of breath work that I learned through Tony Robbins. And he breathes in and out through his nose, and he does 30 breaths, right? And he pushes his hands up in the air. So it's like this. Same thing. I will put a video up so you can actually see how it works. That process, you can get the short version of that done in about 5 minutes. The longer version takes about 10. If you don't have that much time, then I'm going to recommend you just do box breathing or rhythmic breathing. Now, rhythmic breathing is literally, imagine a box, okay, and you breathe in for the count of 4, then you hold your breath for the count of 4, then you breathe out for the count of 4, and then you hold your breath for the count of 4. So you do this around a box, and you do it 4 times, okay? So it's like, that process takes about 2 minutes, okay? So a breathwork process is going to help you to just sit, take a moment, breathe, focus on your breath, and it's going to help calm your nervous system down, okay? You can't be happy when you're constantly in a state of this, okay? So that's just a really quick, easy process for calming the nervous system down. All right, the next thing that I've put on there, okay, is to listen to some information that feeds your brain with nourishment. Listen to a podcast, watch a movie that's inspirational, go onto YouTube and Google inspirational speeches, right? Spend some time putting some good information into your brain, right? Because this here is the most amazing, magnificent computer on the planet. And here's the thing, whatever you feed it, it's going to give you back. So if you are constantly putting negative nonsense in your brain, it is going to it's going to give you back negative feedback, right? So if you just fill your brain with the news, and if you surround yourself with negative people, and if you are constantly looking at things, that are not great going on in the world, if that's where you're focusing your energy and attention, you're not going to feel good, right? But if you sit back and you go, and I'm not saying you have to turn off the news, although I did, because I just found it was not really helpful. And to be honest, there's a statement about the news, if it bleeds, it leads, because it's all about getting you guys to consume newspapers. It's getting you to stay turned on, and people can't help themselves. It's like a train wreck. You sit there, you watch it, you don't want to turn away, but it doesn't make you feel good. Right? And here's the thing, if you start your day watching the news, that, I promise you, is going to be where your focus is for the entire day. Your brain, we've got this little thing at the back of our brain, it's called the reticular activating system. The reticular activating system is going to be looking for things that match with your current reality. So if you feed yourself negative food, your brain is going to seek negative information, and you will stack negative stuff on top of each other. So how do you want to feel? Do you want to feel good, or you want to feel shit? Might be time to turn the news off, okay? All right. So the next thing that I've got here on my little list is a gratitude practice. Now, gratitude is one of those things that people underrate, right? They go, oh, you've got your little gratitude practice, and they think it's a bit kind of, I don't know, a bit wanky. But the reality is this, whatever, as I just mentioned, you focus on, you will get more of. So if you're constantly thinking of the bad things that are going on, and, oh, it's not fair, and this is terrible, what's going to happen is your brain, your reticular activating system, is going to find dodgy things to look for. Whereas if you go into a space of gratitude and go, gosh, I'm grateful, and sometimes it might just be, I'm grateful I woke up. Right? I'm grateful I have a roof over my head. I'm grateful I have a friend, right? Find something to focus in on each day. Now, you can do gratitude in many different ways. You can sit down and you can write everything you can possibly think of that you're grateful for, put them on colored pieces of paper, chuck them in a glass jar, and each day add or take something out. So if you're not feeling great, just go and grab something out of that jar. Right? Sit down and do it with a friend. Create a gratitude practice with a friend. Send one friend every single day. I'm so grateful that you're in my life. And that gives you making someone, giving someone rainbow in a cloudy day. That means you're actually getting a gratitude out and you're making someone feel good. See, multitasking, doubling up. How good's that? So your gratitude practice can be as simple as writing things down. It can be as simple as when you wake up in the morning, putting your feet on the ground, looking up to the sky and going, wow, I'm grateful for this and I'm grateful for that and I'm grateful for this. Okay, we're going to be doing a lot more on this. I'm just giving you guys a brief overview of what these things look like. Okay. And, if you want to go back to biblical times, they basically say, he who is grateful will be given more to be grateful for. So I don't know. If you want to feel good, go into a space of gratitude. And it's impossible to feel anxious and depressed and grateful at the same time. So again, how do you want to feel? Grateful, or you want to feel anxious and depressed? Okay, the other thing is incantations or daily affirmations. Now, the only real difference between an incantation and an affirmation is a peak state. Okay, and what is a peak state? A peak state is all about you energetically being in a state of reception, right? If you're sitting there and you're like feeling like this and you're like, I'm so happy, my life is so great, your body's like, yeah, well, fuck, you need to give the memo to your body. Your body's going, no, you're not. You're unhappy. You don't feel good, right? So to get yourself into a peak state, jump around, right? You can listen to some great music, jumping around, put your arms in the air. Yes, yes, yes. Whatever. No one has to be watching you doing this, but as soon as you do that and you put yourself in that state, then start saying things like, I'm amazing, I'm awesome, I freaking rock, I'm the best this, I'm that. Doesn't matter what you say. Just start ranting, okay? I had to do something over the weekend. I've had a blockage about money my entire life. And not even just money, but numbers, right? Because I created a story when I was young in grade 7 that I was dumb. I was dumb. I was no good with maths. I was stupid. Numbers are I'm hopeless with numbers. I can't do numbers. And I have carried that story my entire life. Now, the impact of carrying that story my entire life is that I've made a lot of money. I've lost a lot of money, right? I have never measured my numbers within my business, so then I never know where I'm going. And the problem with that is that means that it doesn't matter how good you're doing, you actually don't know you're doing good, which means you don't reward yourself, which means you constantly stay on this rat race wheel where you work around, right? Now, I share this story with you because over the weekend, I created a new story. Now, my new story is I love numbers and numbers love me, right? And I am so excited now to create these financial plans, to create the plans within my business. I'm so excited about it because I've realized, oh my God, I can't believe I was carrying that old shitty story about numbers, and look at the outcome. The outcome is 32. I was almost bankrupt after having lots of money, a couple of houses, being really successful, and I was almost bankrupt, right? Because of this old limiting belief. Okay, so you've got to really be mindful about those things. And yes, you're going to feel like a dickhead when you're first starting your incantations. You might feel a bit silly saying things like, I love money and money loves me, or I am amazing, I'm awesome, I freaking rock. But you're writing the story. Okay, so if you're struggling and you don't know what you want to say, have a look at what you currently say and turn it around. Just make it the opposite. So if you're saying things like, I'm ugly, say, I'm beautiful. If you're saying, I'm fat, say, I'm healthy and fit. Whatever the story is you're currently telling yourself, which is your belief system, whatever that story is determining how you feel. So if you don't like how you're feeling, change the frickin' story. And you change the story, you will change your life. Okay? And day 7, I've put down grounding, right? Now, grounding can be as simple as going out, putting your feet on the earth, looking up, looking at the trees, looking at, the ocean, just taking some deep breaths mindfully, right? Walking along and feeling the ground beneath your feet. You might find grounding for you is just sitting there and doing a meditation, okay? So there is not a hard and fast rule with how you do these things. There is just, these are some suggestions. Now, I'm going to add another one, okay, because I learned a new one on the weekend. And I tell you, when I first heard about it, I thought, oh my gosh, this is so silly, right? Oh my God, really? This is really silly. Laughing yoga, okay? Now, Dr. Madan Kataria, his name is, and his beautiful wife, whose name I can't remember. And they're these cute little Indian people, right? And you got to understand, I'm at the end of day 3 of this massive, massive 4-day wealth mastery program that I was doing. And I mean, I was so tired, right? I was just so tired. I'd been up all night, and Dr. Madan Kataria comes on with him and his wife. They're on Zoom and to talk to us about laughing yoga, right? And I'm like, laughing yoga? Okay, all right, fair enough. I'm open. And he starts talking about how with yoga, right, this laughing yoga, he talks about, if you want to be happy, here is the 3 rules for how to be happy. Now, the first thing is act happy. And what's funny is we've talked about this, haven't I? I've said, if you want to be happy, sit here and go, I'm amazing, I'm awesome, I freaking rock, I'm happy, I'm strong, I'm amazing, I'm awesome. Tell yourself that you're happy, right? And to tell yourself that you're happy, you need to tell your body you're happy. So if you're walking around like this, going, I'm happy, I'm amazing, I'm awesome, no, that's not going to work. You've got to let your body know. So your body needs to act happy, okay? Then, number 2, be with happy people. What did I just say before? Your energy will infect people, or it will inspire people. So have a look at your sphere of influence. Have a look at the people that you are surrounding yourself with. Do they make you feel good, or do they make you feel sad, right? If they make you feel good, amazing. If you walk away from an interaction with someone and you feel drained, have a look at who that person is. And I'm not saying don't hang out with them, but maybe limit the time that you have to spend with them, or every time you go into an interaction with them, just be aware of what they're like and shield yourself from that. Think to yourself, okay, I know I'm going to go and interact with this person right now. I know they're super negative. I'm going to try and pull them up, but I'm not going to let them pull me down. Okay. And the third thing is make someone else happy, which I have also just said at number 1. So I really liked what he had to say because it all related with everything that I've already said. But here is the funny part, okay? He talked about doing laughter practice. Now, your immediate response to this is probably going to be like, what do you mean, practice laughing? How can you laugh if you're not happy? And he said, well, it's not about, I don't laugh because I'm happy because I laugh. Now, I think that as a concept is great, right? Now, if you dig a bit deeper into this, scientifically, this guy and his wife have not been sick for 27 years. He talked about the fact that every time you laugh, you release all of these chemicals that I talked about, the oxytocin, the dopamine, the endorphins, the oxygen. So all I would say is, if you are not someone that laughs very often, then maybe this is something you should look at. Now, I will find a video and I'll post it in the group as well, right? But here is the thing, right? What I found is it was contagious, and I did it with my family last night at the dinner table, because what he talks about is, he says, every night at the dinner table, get into a practice of doing this with your family. So I'll show you how this worked. All right. So he talks about the fact that if you laugh, it decreases your age. It's like this amazing de-aging serum. Now, all you ladies out there, I know you want to feel and look younger than you currently do. However old you are, unless you're 2, we all like the idea of looking younger. So he says, okay, here we go. We're going to mix together the happy chemicals, the oxytocin, the endorphins, the dopamine, and the oxygen. And this is how it works. Okay. Mix. And then we're going to put it all over our face, and that's going to make us feel good. Oh, I feel like I need to take my glasses off because I'm putting my happy chemicals on. And then he's just going to start laughing like this. Very good, very good. Ah! Very good, very good. Ah! All right. Now, I totally acknowledge that I look like a complete nut job. Okay, and it might seem completely crazy, but I had my mum, my dad, my daughter, and myself doing this at the dinner table last night. Now, I never thought that I would get my mum and dad doing it, but they did, okay? And here's the thing, even if people in your family don't want to play along with this and you start doing stuff like what I just did then, I'm telling you now, they won't be able to stop laughing at you. And so you'll get the outcome anyway. Right? So just to recap, okay, the idea of this challenge is that I want to help you get happy, okay? And I want you to see that there is things that you can do that are determining whether you feel happy or whether you feel sad, whether you feel happy or whether you feel anxious, whether you feel happy or whether you feel depressed, whether you feel happy, whether you feel mad. Now, each one of these things, okay, when I go through this list of things that I've just gone through, okay, the idea is this. I would like you to think, what are the things that you can add into your day and do easily and effortlessly, okay? You can make someone smile. You can move your body easily. Sitting in your car, you can dance around in your car. You can do a breathwork process, super easy. You can listen to a podcast. You can do a gratitude practice. You can say positive things whilst you're listening to a music. You can go and walk in the grass, and you can do a laughing yoga practice, okay? But I'm not suggesting you do all of these, although, to be honest, I do most of those every single day. So what I want you to do is I want you to have a look at what I've posted up in the group, okay? And I'm going to post some videos, and I want you to make a decision today to really decide whether you want to improve your levels of happiness, okay? Because I promise you, if you do any one of these things on a consistent basis, you will feel better than you feel currently. Now, if you're already feeling super happy, have a look at how many of those things you already do, because I guarantee you, if you are a super happy person, you're probably already doing some of these things. Now, these are just a few of the things that I've come up with, okay? I sat down and I kind of reverse engineered the way that I do my life, right? And I know that I do most of these things fairly consistently. But I want you to just focus. Even if what you do is every day for the next week, you just pick one of them. Pick one thing. If you're not doing anything right now and you're not feeling good, pick one of those things and do it every single day. You might decide that all you're going to do is go for a walk outside with your feet on the bare earth, right? And listen to a happy song and dance, right? How can you stack these events together? How can you make a decision to join them together? I mean, they're super easy. And what I want you to do is I want you to come and post into the group who is going to take part in this happiness challenge. Now, I'm going to be giving away some really cool prizes. I'm not going to tell you what they are because the real prize you're going to get is happiness. So if you want to be, you've got to be in it to win it, right? If you want to take part in this happiness challenge, you have to go into this group and say, I'm all in. Right? You have to put a post in there, tell us what you're going to do. I don't care exactly how, there's no real rule with how it gets done, but you need to show me that you're doing it and you need to play. Okay? The person who plays full out is going to be the person that ends up winning the cool prizes, right? So just think about, like, what do you want? What do you want in your life? Do you want to feel super happy? Because you've been watching Happy AF. So if you don't, then I don't know, you must love me, because all I've been banging on about for weeks now is how to do happiness. Okay? So I want you to jump into the group and say, yep, I'm all in. I'm taking part in the Happy AF challenge. And these are the things I'm going to commit to. So have a look. What are you going to do? Okay. I look forward to hearing from you guys. I hope you've enjoyed today. I've had an amazing 4 days, and I will share way more about that with you in the coming days and weeks. But for today, that's me. This is the Happy AF challenge. And hey, if you don't do any of the stuff that I've just said, other than maybe check out the laughing yoga, then I'm telling you, that will make you laugh. All right, guys, it's been a beautiful morning to share with you. I love you all so much. I really hope you join me on this happiness challenge, and I will see you on the other side.
Be what you wanna